Welcome everyone. Good morning, afternoon, whatever time of day it is to you. We're going to go ahead and get started here for the Lunar Surface Science Workshop number 3, Dust and Regolith. So I am one of the moderators today. I am Addie Dove from the University of Central Florida. And Ryan Watkins is my co-moderator. She'll jump in here in a minute. So we also want to thank our early career facilitators who will be helping out with all of the note-taking and running some of the sessions as well today. So it's Beverly Kimmerer and Ben Byron, and then also our organizers and our awesome facilitators. So we have just a few slides to get us kicked off today, and then we'll jump into presentations. So Sarah, next slide. The purpose and scope of this workshop, I'm going to briefly introduce it and then Sarah's going to chime in, but these workshops are intended to solicit input from the community on the potential for new scientific research that might be enabled by human exploration. Right now, obviously, we're especially interested in this for the lunar South Pole, although we do have talks today covering a variety of locations on the lunar surface. A big part of this is identifying and closing knowledge gaps associated with crew activities and safety. So very specifically looking at human exploration and those activities. There have been several previous workshops, obviously, since this is number 3, and there will be some upcoming workshops. So Sarah, take it away.
Thanks, Addie. Yeah, I just wanted to, first of all, thank everybody for showing up and for participating. We are really trying to work with the community and get input from you guys, and we really need you to be part of this journey with us. So thank you all who were able to show up. We are also recording all of these things, so if you miss part of the day or whatever, you can go back and watch them later. We have had a series of these workshops based on the things that were expected to have been presented at the original workshop, and in some cases we are going to start moving away from that as well as things evolve. We're not quite in the same situation we were in April, and so as things evolve, we've started adding new topics. Like you can see here in October, we are looking to do one on sort of the value of mobility. We may actually have to put out a call for abstracts on that. We did not collect abstracts on that for the original workshop, so keep an eye out for that. And late breaking news, we've been asked by the Planetary Protection Group at headquarters to do a discussion on planetary protection. They are looking at how we are doing planetary protection on the moon in this new era, and they would like some input from the community. And so we are trying to get that together for the end of September. So keep an eye out for that if that is a topic you are interested in. We do want to hear from the community. With that, I will turn it back over to Addie.
Awesome, thanks, Sarah. And also a reminder then that the league meeting will be in the Lunar Exploration Analysis Group meeting will be in September, and obviously lots of relevant topics discussed there. Next slide, please. So this is the Dust and Regolith workshop, and we thought we should do one slide to sort of loosely define what we mean by that today. I'm not intending to start a bunch of debates right off the bat, so this is dust and regolith are sort of hand in hand, and there's often sort of dependent on use for how folks refer to dust or regolith, and often interchangeably, but they relate to the characteristics, phenomenology of particulates on the moon, and also the resulting interactions with both human and robotic systems. So for today, we've sort of loosely defined dust as the finest particulates that have phenomena related to lofting, blowing. My particular interest is in electrostatic interactions. And so that can also include not only surface effects, but exospheric effects, higher altitude, and orbital effects. And the definition of the key technology area that folks are looking at for this. And then regolith is sort of loosely here defined as the more general characteristics of the material on the surface. It's really important for surface science, but then also when we're looking at the technology areas, things like mobility, trafficability, sample acquisition, where you're interacting with the surface materials and the composition and the size and shape is going to make a big difference. So that's sort of how we've loosely defined them today. And this is relevant then for the breakout sessions where we've sort of tried to break it up into those categories. And I also want to say that we don't have any topics specifically about simulants today, but I would be remiss not to mention that simulants are a key technology and tool that we can use to understand dust and regolith on the lunar surface. And so we don't have any talk specifically about that today, but there are a number of really great resources for either using simulants, looking up their characteristics and things like that. So go ahead, Ryan.
Thanks, Addie. Yeah, so just working through a couple of logistics real quick. The format of this workshop, there's, I mean, on the slide, there's a nice link to the program that obviously you can't click on, but if you just go to the meeting website, you can download a PDF of the agenda for the day. Just a note that the one that was emailed out by LPI a few days ago had an error in it, so you'll want to go download the updated version. We also have a change. The talk from Amy Ross on spacesuits will not be given because Amy Ross is stuck in a spacesuit all day. So we'll use her time for maybe some additional questions or a longer break or something. But so our goal for today, like Addie kind of mentioned and Sarah, is to use community input to capture priority questions that remain relating to addressing dust and regolith in the context of human exploration. So a lot of our speakers will present some outstanding questions that they've come up with, and we're happy to take any from the audience as well, and we'll use those to guide the breakout sessions at the end. So just a few housekeeping things. Everybody should be automatically muted, but please just double check, make sure your mic is muted unless you're asking a question or actually giving the presentation. If you do have a question, we prefer you ask it in the Q&A window, and then one of us will answer it, or ask it for you if there's time at the end of a talk. If not, then we can answer those in the discussion sessions or the breakout sessions at the end. And please note if your question is for a particular speaker. You're also free to utilize the chat window. We'll monitor both, but try to ask your questions in the Q&A. Speakers, you'll get warnings at the 6 and 8 minute marks, trying to leave in a little bit of buffer for transition and question time. And you can obviously see that I'm a bit biased because I said kids and dogs are welcome, but I suppose if you have a cat or a gerbil or some other pet, they are welcome as well. Slight preference on my end for dogs, but I will welcome all pets. So interruptions are fine. And if you could go ahead and go to the next slide. There are 2 breakout sessions at the end. You should have received a link for those if you were on the list for that. We have one discussing dust phenomena and strategies for mitigation, and then the other will discuss regolith characteristics and implications for things such as sample acquisition and trafficability. So we'll discuss questions that were put forth by the presenters, as well as anything else that comes up. And yeah, just to note that these are limited to the presenters, their delegate, and other invitees. And we'll use all of the information from today for a final report. There are some that are being generated for the previous meetings. You can find those online and get input. Yep, and then next slide. We just wanted to put a quick mention out there just to kind of give a little memorial to Brian O'Brien, who was a fierce advocate for understanding and mitigating lunar dust and unfortunately passed away last week. He was a pioneer of the lunar dust detectors that were flown on many of the Apollo missions, and he was analyzing this data right up until the time of his passing. And there's just a nice little quote there that probably says something about Brian better than I really could. This was sent around in the Lunar L, just about his background as both a scientist and explorer and the legacy that he left. And unfortunately, we had hoped that he could present at this meeting, and so we very much feel his absence today, and thank him for all of the work that he did to understand dust.